Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are doing a $20 Dollar Tree 4th of July dinner. I am burning daylight, so I'm going to keep this intro very short. I've done several of these $20 holiday dinners, and today's no exception. I have a really exciting menu planned. Let me show you everything I got from Dollar Tree. So for my $20, I have a bag of tortilla chips, a can of chili, a can of baked beans, a can of corn, some sloppy joe mix. I have some pasta salad, pack of hot dog buns, Parmesan cheese, Tajin, mayo. I also have a package of cookie dough. I have some beef patties, hot dogs, not hot dog buns, some cream cheese, and 2 bags of shredded cheddar cheese. So I actually have an appetizer, an entree, 3 sides, and a dessert planned within this. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So firstly, for our appetizer, we are doing a 3-ingredient chili dip. So for that, you'll need the cream cheese, the cheddar cheese, and the can of chili. The chips are just for dipping. So first things first, my cream cheese has not been sitting out to get to room temperature, so I am going to expedite that process by putting mine in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And then quite simply, this is all just going to get layered into a baking dish. So here is my cream cheese. And next on goes our can of chili. And lastly, our shredded cheddar cheese. This only took about 5 minutes to put together, and it only cost $5, including the bag of tortilla chips. So if you needed something easy and inexpensive to bring to a barbecue or a potluck this summer, this is a great option. This is going to get baked in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. For the main course, we're going to be doing something slightly untraditional. I am making a chili cheese dip, so I also did not want to make chili cheese hot dogs. So I thought a fun way to change it up would be to do sloppy joe dogs. So I have some beef patties, some bun-length hot dogs, a can of sloppy joe mix, some shredded cheese, and of course my hot dog buns. So we're going to start by making our sloppy joe sauce over on the stovetop. So as I'm sure you can imagine, chili dogs and sloppy joe dogs are basically the same, except for the substitution of sloppy joe mix for the chili. I am going to start by browning up my beef patty here. And as I normally do with these beef patties, I did drain them and rinse them to get rid of any extra salt. And then in goes sloppy joe sauce. This is only about 8 ounces, so I'm going to start with only half the can of sloppy joe sauce, which actually looks like that is about perfect. So I'm just going to let that cook down until the sauce is nice and thick. Now let's talk about the hot dogs real quick. You can cook your hot dogs any way that you want. You can cook them on the skillet, you can boil them. I have been doing some research, and from what I read online, a lot of people actually bake their hot dogs, which I have never tried to do. So I'm going to try baking them today and just see how they turn out. Because supposedly it's similar to the hot dogs that you get at like a gas station or a ballpark, essentially, kind of those roller style hot dogs. So we're going to try that today, just see how it goes. So I've got myself a baking dish here, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay out all of my hot dogs straight on the baking dish. You're supposed to give them a couple of little cuts across the top just so that they have room to kind of, I guess, expand in the oven. Doesn't need to be too deep, just a couple little slashes on top there. And then I'm going to bake these in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. So these are the baked hot dogs out of the oven. I think they look really great. I love the idea. I like how toasty they kind of got. They got a little crispy on the bottom there as if they were grilled, even though they weren't. They do seem like they have a really nice like texture on the outside. So look at those. They sound super crispy too. One of the sides that I wanted to make is a Mexican street corn salad. Most of you know Mexican street corn is called elote. Then there is street corn salad, which I believe is called Esquites, and I hope I'm saying that right. But for that, I have a can of corn, I have some mayonnaise, some Tajin, and then I know cotija is traditional, but Dollar Tree does not sell cotija, so we're going to use some Parmesan cheese instead. I'm trying to create as many grilled style dishes as I can without using a grill. So street corn is typically grilled, of course. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to attempt to dry roast my corn on the skillet here. Don't worry about potentially making popcorn, because popcorn is made with a totally different type of corn kernel than this one is. So I do have a little bit of liquid. I did drain off the corn, but there still is a little bit of liquid. So once that evaporates off, we should be able to dry roast this until we get some color on it. So dry toasting is not working quite as well as I had hoped it would, so I am going to add just a little bit of oil to kind of move this along a bit. Just about a tablespoon, maybe less. All that's really happening here is my corn is just kind of sticking to the bottom of my skillet. corn is looking and smelling amazing. I've mentioned it before, but corn is definitely one of my favorite vegetables. I do love elote. I've made it at home a couple times. I don't have a grill, so I've never actually grilled it. I've just kind of cooked corn on the cob and then covered it in like mayonnaise, chili powder, and Tortilla or Parmesan cheese. So I am going to be mimicking that, of course. Typically, you would take your cooked corn and slather it in mayonnaise, then again chili powder, and then cover it in cheese. We're gonna replicate that same, but in a bowl with canned corn. I'm gonna season it up with some Tajin. And I'm gonna sprinkle in some Parmesan cheese. Now for presentation, I am going to transfer this into a bowl for serving. And over the top, I am going to give it a little bit more of the Tajin, a little bit more Parmesan. And so that is my elote salad, otherwise known as Esquites. Of course, there isn't really anything to do as far as the baked beans go. These are already cooked. So I am just going to transfer them into a bowl, and then when dinner is about ready, I'll throw these in the microwave for a couple minutes to warm them through. And the last two things that I have to make are the pasta salad and the cookies, which both of these I can just prepare according to the package instructions. I'm gonna bake the cookies and I'm gonna boil the pasta salad. I am actually super happy with how this is turning out so far. So I hope that these cookies do pretty well. Comes with 6 cookies. I did intend this to be a dinner for 4. And my thought process with that is that, you know, a lot of the sides that I have, like it's 2 cups of beans, it's 2 cups of corn, it'll be 2 cups of pasta salad. It's about a half a cup serving per person. Whereas some of the other dishes like the hot dogs, that's 8 hot dogs. So that will be 2 hot dogs per person, chili dip. I feel like it's going to be a really well-rounded dinner. And then of course there would be 1 cookie, 1.5 cookies per person if you really want to split it that way. But I'm going to throw these in the oven and let them bake. For preparing the pasta salad dressing, you just mix 1 tablespoon of cold water, 1 tablespoon of oil of your choice, and the seasoning packet. And just set that aside until your pasta is done cooking. Here's my pasta salad. If you want it cold and you are not making it in advance, just get yourself a little ice water bath here and submerge your pasta salad in the ice water bath and just kind of mix it around until it is chilled. And then that just gets tossed right in our dressing. So as you can see, this is not a whole lot of pasta salad. These boxes from Dollar Tree are pretty small. I think they're only designed to be like 2 servings. Like I said, we have a lot going on here, so the fact that it's only 2 servings is not that big of a deal because each person would still get a small amount of everything. And as I've mentioned before, like doing these kinds of budget dinners, you don't really have enough money to have an excess of food. You're trying to kind of just make enough for your family, in this case a family of 4. I am also going to go ahead and pre-warm my hot dog buns. Should be able to fit all 8 of them onto this. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to stick those in the oven and let them warm up. The buns are warmed up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assemble my hot dogs. My hot dogs did shrivel up quite a bit as they cooled, which is part of the reason I want to go ahead and pre-assemble all of my hot dogs to kind of hide the fact that they look a little shrivelly. Like I said, I have never tried the baked hot dog method before, and maybe they just doesn't quite work with these cheap like Bar S hot dogs as much as they would with like another brand of hot dog. I mean, I'm sure that they're still going to taste great. It's just that they're a little shrivelly looking. And here is my sloppy Joe mixture. And so I'm going to distribute this evenly between all 8 of my hot dogs here. That was the perfect amount of sloppy Joe mixture to distribute between all of these hot dogs. But of course, we have to top them with some cheese. So I'm going to spread out my cheese mixture between my dogs as well. And then those can also go in the oven until the cheese is melted, which should only take a few minutes. So here's the whole spread for you to see. We have the chili cheese dip, we have our sloppy Joe dogs, baked beans, pasta salad, elote salad, and we also have some cookies, This is a lot of variety for just $20, but we still have to try everything and make sure it all turned out the way I wanted it to. So here's my plate with a little bit of everything, and that is the one thing that I'm gonna recommend when it comes to hosting a dinner on a budget or doing a budget style like dinner party, is to pre-portion the food on a plate. Not only does it make you look like a good host, because you've taken the time to make these pretty plates, but the secret is that it makes sure that every guest gets a little bit of every ingredient and they don't know that you didn't really prepare a lot of food. So it looks pretty, it presents well, it makes you seem like a better host, but at the same time, it saves your wallet versus having to do everything buffet style. So let's go ahead and try it in the order. So we have our appetizer here, which is the 3-ingredient chili cheese dip. This was just cream cheese, a can of chili, and some shredded cheese on top. Let's give it a try. Adding cream cheese to chili really kind of mellows out the chili. If you didn't know what it was, you would be a little perplexed because it adds some tanginess to it. It makes it creamy. Super good. Had never tried it before today. I've tried similar things, but not this dip exactly. The second thing that we have to try is my Esquites, or my elote salad. So let's give that a try. I think I could have added just a little bit more mayonnaise to it, and I think that would have made it better. It is good. I just think it needed a little bit more mayonnaise than I put in it, just because right now it's super kind of tangy from the Tajin, and the Parmesan cheese is nice and salty, and it almost needs just a little bit more mayonnaise to kind of balance out those really strong flavors. But otherwise, for being like a dressed up version of a canned corn, it's really superb. Of course, the pasta salad isn't really going to be anything special because it is just a box of pasta salad, and I have tried it before, but I will go ahead and have a bite. I say it's not anything special, but it is definitely the best boxed pasta salad on the market, in my opinion. If you've never had the Suddenly Classic pasta salad, it is superb. And then we have our baked beans, which of course, you know, we didn't do anything to doctor these up. These are just as is. Those baked beans are so good. They are sweet, they are smoky. They were honestly perfect. But the thing that we actually need to try is the sloppy Joe dog. Let's give it a try and see if the baked hot dog really does reign supreme. Let me start off by saying that I have tried a lot of different methods of cooking hot dogs and have never truly been very happy with any of them. I am partial to the way that I was raised eating hot dogs, which is just a hot dog boiled in water. And I've also microwaved hot dogs, you know, back when I was a kid and really couldn't use a stovetop. A microwave hot dog with some ketchup and mustard was one of my go-to meals. And when I say that baking the hot dog really does make a difference, I genuinely do mean that, especially when it comes to these cheap hot dogs, which, and I don't say cheap in a negative way. I am saying these inexpensive hot dogs where sometimes they can be a little on the greasy side. The flavor can be a little overly salty. I do think that this lends a lot to the texture of the hot dog. It gives it like a little bit more of a snap. It makes it feel more expensive in a way. So I do think that baking the hot dog made a bit of a difference. And we all know what Sloppy Joe mix tastes like. So you combine like kind of our two kind of iconic American foods, Sloppy Joes and hot dogs together, and you actually get a really, really delicious meal. Here's what I will say about me. I am an appetizer girl and I am a dessert girl. So I always gravitate more towards appetizers and desserts. So in this case, the chili cheese dip and the cookies. So the cookies were a little bit inconsistent in sizing. I have one really big one back here and then some normal sized ones. And the only ones you can really see the rainbow chips on are on the really big one. But they should all taste the same. This is why I don't buy desserts, because I will just eat them. Desserts are literally my favorite thing. I'm going to try to fix my elote, my corn salad here. I'm going to add a little bit more mayonnaise to it, and I'm going to see if that makes it taste the way that I personally want it to taste. Okay, let's try it again. That is perfect now. I've said this before, but making Dollar Tree holiday dinners is one of my all-time favorite things. I love to show you that even on a shoestring budget, you can still have a really nice holiday dinner. I do wish I could have gotten this out earlier. I'm posting this on Monday, July 3rd, and obviously it's not a whole lot of time to prepare for the 4th, but all in all, this whole meal only took me about an hour to an hour and a half to prepare, and that was kind of with my chaotic method of doing it, which doesn't really have a rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of throwing stuff together as I see fit. And this is another one of those, I've been cooking with Dollar Tree food for so long that I kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to Dollar Tree food. I know how to incorporate a lot of variety. Like, obviously, I didn't make the pasta salad, I didn't make the baked beans, I didn't make the cookies, which gave me a little bit more wiggle room for adding in some extra variety, like the street corn salad, the sloppy joe dogs, and the chili dip, which I did make. So we're kind of intertwining some kind of pre-made things with some more homemade things to give this meal a more authentic taste, and trying to replicate those kind of smoky grilled flavors but without a grill. So all in all, this meal turned out amazing. I am super happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon.